Well, President William Ruto's plan to reduce the country's debt burden through cutting down on expenditure has been set in motion, with the cabinet approving supplementary estimates to effect a 300 billion shillings expenditure cut from the 2022-2023 financial year. In its first meeting of the year, the country's apex policy organ has also approved the 2023-2024 budget policy statement, as well as the medium-term debt management strategy that could see the country slow its growth in public debt, as well as implementing an effective liability management strategy. Ibrahim Karanja has that report.
When the president first laid his legislative agenda before the bicameral parliament last year, an ambitious plan to cut on expenditures in a bid to save the country from a skyrocketing debt was mooted. In the plan, President Ruto noting the need to reduce a 300 billion shilling expenditure from the 2022-2023 financial year from the estimates that then stood at 3.3 trillion shillings.
Over the next 3 years, we must reverse this and go back to the situation where government contributes to the national saving efforts by keeping recurrent expenditure below revenue. To this end, I have instructed Treasury to work with ministries to find at least 300 billion shillings in this year's budget so that we can remove it, because the market cannot sustain the kind of borrowing we are doing.
Months later, and the cabinet in its first sitting of the year has given the green light to the move. The dispatch from the cabinet sitting Tuesday notes that the cabinet has approved the 2022-2023 financial year supplementary estimates that rationalizes the national budget with administration priority, realizing savings of 300 billion shillings. The cabinet also considered budget estimates for the financial year 2023-2024, which is said to be designed to slow down the annual growth in public debt and implement an effective liability management strategy. The meeting was also the first paperless cabinet sitting in history, in line with the administration's pledge to lead the nation through a technological disruption as part of the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. They also approved the Kenya Digital Superhighway project that will see over 100,000 kilometers of fiber optic cable laid across the country and a further creation of 25,000 public Wi-Fi hotspots, together with establishment of digital village smart hubs and studios in each of the 1,450 wards in the country. This will facilitate the plan to automate at least 5,000 government services by June this year. They also noted that in a bid to boost agriculture and as part of Kenya's export promotions, the country will also export its first ever full shipload of value-added tea to Australia. The country's top policy-making organ deliberated on a myriad of other issues, including the drought situation, the status of universal health coverage, unlocking the mining sector, and promoting inter-county mineral processing. The Kenya Kwanza plan has a cost implication of 2.67 trillion shillings, with 473 billion shillings required in its first year for the 5 key pillars of agriculture, MSMEs, housing, healthcare, and digital and creative economy. Ibrahim Karanja, NTV.